I'm Steph from Stitching with Steph. Welcome to my channel. This week we're going to be doing a brand new, very first time ever on my channel, a counted cross stitch canvas. It is purchased from Biggest Craft and there is a review up on my channel for it. I will go ahead and leave you a link to that particular review. If you're a subscriber, thank you for returning today and watching this video and going along this journey with me. If you have any counted cross stitch, or even if you don't, grab your stamped kit and let's go ahead and get to stitching. If you're a new non-subscriber and you stumbled upon my video, leave me a comment and let me know how you came across my channel. If you like the content that I provide and the interactions that we have over here on this channel and on our other social media platforms, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Go ahead and click that bell notification, and what that will do is give you an update and a little ping anytime I upload new content to my channel. And then, like I said, if you want to leave a comment, let me know how you came across my channel, or you have any questions, go ahead and put those down below. Let's go ahead and get into how I set up for my counted cross stitch on my iPad, and then we'll dive into the actual canvas itself and get to stitching. All right, so in the first part of this segment for you guys, I'm going to kind of show you, sorry about this little glare here, that's a window. I'm going to show you how I use it on my iPad. So I use an app called GoodNotes, and as you can see, this is the little icon here. So if you're in the Apple Store, this is what I use. So I go to GoodNotes, and like I said before, I use it for everything. So I do my household, school, and stitching. So for my stitching, since this is my very first counted, this is my very first notebook I've created. So you can click on the notebook and then this is what it is. So I put on the very front of it what the picture is, what my title is going to be for that particular item. And then I just started my patterns. So what I did is I took pictures of it. If you see here, I have an 80 line all the way down to 110. And then on the bottom down here, if you look, I have page 1 of my pattern, 0 through 80 across, and the top for the top, and then for down I have 0 to 110. So that way when I look at my pattern on my canvas, I know what squares I should be working in. So the nice thing about this particular app is like I can zoom all the way in. So if I want to work in my first 10 by 10 square, I can work in that square. And then all I do is take my Apple Pencil. And then as I'm doing these, I can just mark off what I've already done. If you made a mistake, say you're like, oops, I didn't mean to do that, you can erase it. Some people like using highlighters. I'm not a big fan of that. I like using the pencil feature. So I did this, I divided my whole pattern for this one that we're going to be doing into 4. So again, this one is from 80 to the 147. So if you look down here, it says page 2, 80 to 147 across the top, and then it's going to be 0 to 110 again, all the way to the bottom. And again, when I'm stitching, I can just go in and be like, okay, I'm between box 80 and 90, first box, second box, and then I can go ahead and start stitching away. I found this to be more beneficial in the sense of making it easier for me to keep track of what I'm stitching versus on that like glossy photo paper or keeping track of a paper pattern. I feel like this way I'm not marking up my one pattern and I'm just keeping track of all of it here. The one thing that I didn't include that I'll be honest with you, I probably have it in here. I'm going to add a page here actually, and see, now you're getting to see this in live action. So I'm going to go here. Give me a second. I'm going to add the picture. Bear with me. All right, so there we go. Here is my key for it. So all I did was click the picture button, and then it brings up like my recent pictures up here on top. Let me lay this a little bit more flat for you. So what I did is I clicked this picture button right there, and then it brings up my recent pictures. And I already took this, so all I'm doing is making it so that it's a little bit more legible for me. And this is my key code, or my legend here. So for example, now that's at the very beginning of my notebook, right? So there's my notebook cover, my legend, and then my pattern. So this is what I'll be going off of while I'm stitching with you. I won't necessarily have this in my Stitch With Me video because I like doing up close of my canvas. I'll see how the video goes and then we'll kind of go from there. But I wanted to give you guys an idea of how I do this. So let's go ahead and begin this stitch with me. I'm going to go ahead and put away my iPad or put it to the side, and then I'm going to get the canvas ready. All right, so I got the iPad all set up for us. What we're going to be doing, we're going to be stitching in the top corner here. Let's go ahead and go up a bit. The top corner right here of my canvas, we're going to do this first 10 by 10 square right here, which is all one color, and that is color number 24. And according to our key, color 24 is color 939. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom on in to my 10 by 10 because that's what we're working on right here. We're just going to put that to the side right there, and we're just going to stitch right along. So I know this whole square is 24, so it's kind of easy to start off with, right? Is we know this is all this color, so we'll just kind of start there. And then maybe we'll go over to this side here if we have enough time in this video to show you how we would start marking those up. So what I like to do, if I'm doing a solid square like this, again, I like the pre-gridded ones like this. I do not like gridding canvases myself. I'm just, call me lazy if you must, but I'm just not a fan of them. And it's just not something I enjoy doing. I enjoy stitching, but I don't enjoy, what I don't enjoy doing is gridding. And anybody that does stitching or has done this knows what I'm talking about. It's not, to me, it's not fun. It's not, I'm a doer. I don't like necessarily prepping for the canvas. I find it boring, to be honest with you. And look at that. I'm just gonna, instead of stitching with Steph, we're gonna call my channel Knots with Steph because I feel like that's just what we do now. We just do knots. In every single video, there's a knot. So I think what I'll do first is I'm gonna go down one column and then mark them out on my actual iPad so I know what I'm doing. Even though I know that's what I'm doing, it's just a form good habit as I progress through the pattern, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and move you down like so, and we'll move this bad boy down so you know what we're doing. There we go. And you're gonna see a glare in the background of me putting my needle in my mouth and all that fun stuff. Hey, would it be a true stitch with me if you didn't? Jeez Louise, we're barely on the second. This is how this stitch with me is gonna go, huh? We're just gonna, it's gonna be knots with me, not stitch with me. I think it's more or less because it knows like I'm trying to like do something productive here, not just a stamped kit per se. Okay, there's one knot, there's two. Aha, we just got two knots out. Okay, there we go. So, have you done any counted cross stitch yet? Again, it kind of made me nervous, but I picked out this pattern because I was like, oh, I like flowers and it's a full coverage. The pattern I would think is relatively easy. I mean, I've gotten a few that I reviewed some. One of my other reviews was like sugar skull with butterflies. That one is a little confetti heavy. I'll probably save that one for when I get a little bit more comfortable with counted cross stitch. But yeah, this is my first big counted cross stitch that I've done. I showed in another video my very first counted cross stitch. Hold on, let me see. I'll show you guys too real fast. If you're a returning subscriber, you may have seen it in another video, but I'll show you guys real fast. Give me a second. Doo -doo -doo. Okay, so this is like my very first counted cross stitch, and he was so small. And that took me several hours to do just because to stay focused on the pattern, boy, it was something wicked. And I was like, I can't do this with the paper pattern. And that's what kind of threw me off was the paper pattern. But once I discovered this app for me, for my good notes, for school and for my household, like I do my budget and stuff on there too, I was like, I could use this for my cross stitching patterns. And so I uploaded one of my stamped cross stitch patterns for here to do like a test run, a trial run before I made the commitment to a counted cross stitch with you guys because I didn't want to put in all this effort just to not end up following through with it. So I did a trial run on one of my stamped cross stitch kits and I was like, wow, this is actually pretty easy. So I would say if you're doing a lot of confetti, I of course would keep track of what you're stitching. But since this is pre-gridded for me, this is going to be pretty simple to mark up, right? So I'm coming down to this last one here. So what I'm going to do is park my stitch right here, and then I'll pop out my Apple pencil. Bear with me. I'm just going to pop out my Apple pencil and then mark off what I did. So I did this one, this one, this one. And you see how I'm just sticking within those boxes, right? And you can just leave, if you don't have an Apple pencil, use your finger. You can enlarge it big enough. I use my Apple pencil because I take notes with it in school too. So for me, like now that I'm going into this next column, that's the route that I'm going to take. So I'm just going to follow my pattern, right? Like I know that this is all within this row. So we'll just knock out this next column. I want this very first stitch with me for this counted to be a little bit longer, so it might be longer than my usual stitch with me, just because I want to put in some work with you guys so you guys can kind of see if you're brave enough to go and snag you a counted pattern off of Amazon so you can get it faster. Grab one that you like. Be mindful of the pattern. Again, you might want to make sure it has a lot of block coloring and stuff in it, or maybe do a counted kit for beginners. And let's do a counted stitch together. So instead of a, a stamped one, we can do maybe once a week this counted together. I am adventuring into beaded as well, so that I'm interested in that. I've seen those. Those are like a combination between diamond art and cross stitch. So I do have one on the way. I think I only ordered one just to try it out again, right along with our counted days. I want to dabble in different types of stitching. I don't think I'm going to get to actually embroidery for a while because I really want to master this craft here. And I really do enjoy cross stitching. So sorry guys, I keep poking my finger. So I'm going to put my little, oh, see how it erased all of my stuff? So I just like somehow it erased it. So I just hit the back button and it put it back all in. So don't ever be afraid that it's going to mess up what you've done. It's easy to fix. You can just hit the back button and undo what you just did. It was so funny because when I first started using technology, my husband was like, why were you so resistant for the longest time? And I'm like, because like if you mess it up, it could be gone forever, right? Like, and that's something that that's a fear / paranoia that I had to get over, to be honest with you. I'm going to move this back a little for me just so I can. Okay, so we finished our second row. So let's go ahead and mark out our second row here. So we went this way, right? And now we're starting on our third row. See, our third row. All right, I'm going to park a stitch. I'm going to mute you for a second and just grab some water right quick. All right. I'm trying to stay on top of my hydration, especially since I've been fighting this cold. And I started getting, has anyone tried those drink additives, liquid IVs? I get them at Costco in bulk. I try to drink those one a day just because I'm really bad about drinking water and staying hydrated. It's the ADHD thing, to be honest. Um, but I found it does work pretty well about retaining my fluids, especially like when I work out or on the days that I work. Um, I actually feel hydrated, so that's always nice. But they're a little costly, so I try to stock up on them when Costco has the sales on them. You can get them on the app and get them delivered to you. That's what I do, so you can get more variety of flavors. But I know that they have some in club. I was gonna say in-house, but in the stores you can pick some up. Last summer I got it's like the bomb pops. Again, if that doesn't tell my age, I don't know what does. But do you guys remember when the ice cream trucks used to come around with the little bomb pops? Oh, the additive one, the liquid IV that is like a bomb pop, it literally tastes just like a bomb pop. So I stocked up on those ones. What else do I have? I have a tropical one. I have a cherry one. I have so many of them. So I'm saying if you guys struggle with hydration, go and grab those liquid IVs, but don't drink more than one a day. Follow the directions on it. Don't do several a day. You can overdose on the liquid IV. I don't think a lot of people realize that it is considered a medicine. So follow the instructions on the packet, folks. Follow the instructions on the packet. Okay, so we're on row 3 now, right? Yep. Okay, so we finished row 3. We're about to start row 4. So we just did row 3. And I love, this is why when I was reviewing the pattern, the paper patterns, this is something I specifically look for. You see how it has each little square? Oh, it's a lifesaver for somebody that has ADHD. Because you're just like, crap, hold on. Okay, I did the 3rd square. I'm now on the 4th square. Okay, I'm on this square. So I'll be honest, if I get a pattern that doesn't have the little squares on it, I'll probably won't be doing it on camera with you guys because I'm going to need to pay attention. Like my butterfly sugar skull one, it does not have this. So you guys will probably never see me stitch that. That'll be something that I work on my own with because I'm going to need my undivided attention on that particular pattern. It's one of those that I would have to be stitching outside when it's early in the morning with a cup of coffee, or my kids are playing and I'm just supervising, necessarily in the sense of being outside with my kids because summer's coming. But that pattern, if I end up stitching it with you guys, it's probably going to be on the easiest parts of the pattern, not necessarily anything else, because it does not have these little squares. And just doing this part with this counted cross stitch, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm actually enjoying this particular counted cross stitch because it's easy for me to follow along. So like for me, if I was going to be over here in this section, I would probably do like one stitch, park my needle, and then mark it off that what I just did, and then move on to the next section, if that makes sense. I tell you what, guys, I've had about enough of these dang knots. You would think I would learn my lesson just to cut my string shorter, but I don't like wasting it, and I like being able to see like how much I got done. It kind of gives me, like, without me having to check my timer on my camera, I know one thread, like if I do one thread and split it into 2, I know one full half one is about a half an hour with you guys. So I don't have to really check my camera time per se when I'm doing this. Okay, so we're finishing this one. And it looks like we got a little snag here in my thread. You see it right here? So I'm going to have to rethread this as soon as I'm done. I don't like the way it's snagging. That might be contributing. Okay, so we just finished. Okay, if you look here on our canvas, we are 1, 2, 3, 4. We just finished one. We're on the fourth one now. So right here, I'm just going to make it a little bit darker so I know what I'm doing. There we go. And what I meant by, like, I have a little snag here. If you look, my thread is a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to pull it out to my tail and rethread. So if you look here, it's a little bit longer than the rest. Alrighty, I need my threader. You guys are just on an adventure with me today. We're doing a counted. I got my little finger protector here. I got from one of my orders I got. I'm just living my best life in 75-degree weather, doing a counted cross stitch. But you know, I'll take it. All right, here we go. And again, say you accidentally, you're like, oh, I meant to, this is the column I was on. If you're like, crap, I messed up, you just hit your arrow button. I'll just go ahead and move the camera over real fast so you can see. You just hit this arrow button up here. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, okay, now it's fixed. So the nice thing is it makes it really user-friendly with this GoodNotes app. Again, that was kind of a deterrent for me for the longest time for Accounted, was having an efficient way of keeping track of it and not having to mark on a pattern, the paper pattern in itself. So that's one thing that I really appreciate about having GoodNotes app. So again, this stitch with me may be a little bit longer just because I want to try to get over to this section, at least this first row here, so I can show you guys how I would handle that. Maybe in the next row I'll do it just so it doesn't go over like 30 minutes or so. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I still have to do this row and then up one for us to get over there. So, because I don't want to do a pin stitch just for a whole new box. You know what I mean? Hopefully, I think that's what we'll do. We'll just do that. Just so you can kind of have an idea of how to navigate your waters in this section here. So, but right now we're still over here. Let me move this back into frame for you a little bit smaller. There we go. I want to make sure you guys can go along with me and see what I'm doing. All this talking, man. I feel like I use chapstick on the regular anyways, but when I'm doing my videos, I drink so much water and chapstick, and I know some people don't mind doing it, but I just pause you guys and I put some chapstick back on and water. I just feel like you're here to watch me stitch and stitch along with me. You're not here to listen to me gulp down some water and listen to me put on some chapstick. I don't know. That's my perception, I guess. I could be wrong. Okay. Oop. Remember how I said sometimes your thread will snag on the edge? That's a prime example of it snagging on the edge. And because I'm a lefty, so it happens a lot. Does it happen to you right-handers a lot? I don't know. I never thought about that. I'm pretty sure it does if you think about it. The concept's still the same, right? I would think so. All right, we're making our way back up towards the top. And then I think what I'll do is I'll just maybe go over into that second box so you can kind of get a feel for how we would handle that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to park our stitch right here. Now we're going to go ahead and mark off what we just did. And as you can see here, see how they kind of, in this circle, it's going to be kind of hard. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do one more. So let's see, and one more. So see here, and then there's one here, 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 and here. And this is where we're at right now. I'm going to grab a drink of water. I'm going to put you guys on pause for a minute. All right. So right now we are parked right here in our pattern, right? So we're going to stitch all the way to this blue line. We know that those are full stitches of the same color. So let's just go ahead and get that done. Sorry about that. I hit my camera stand. Okay, so we're right here to this line right there. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. So to the right of this line here, which is that line there, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. So let's go ahead and mark these off because we finished these ones. And we're going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So in this instance, when you have a counted canvas like this, where you're having to kind of nitpick where you're going to go, I would highly recommend counting your stitches and doing them in full. So I'm going to do 4 full stitches. So here is 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay, so those are our 4 full stitches. I'm gonna let my needle fall. Okay, so we did 4, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let me pull this last one a little tighter. I don't like. There we go. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna skip 2 boxes. Okay. So this is what I mean by it's a headache when you are doing a counted, because here you go. You're going to skip. Here's 1 box. Okay, there's the other side of it. So we're going to skip 2 boxes. So 1, 2, and then we're going to go 2 boxes. So on the 3rd box, we're going to stitch. So 1, 2, 3. So I know I need to go right here. And before I even start stitching, I always double check myself. I'll be like, okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I'm in the right box. So this is gonna, the next 2 boxes are gonna be full stitches. So we're gonna have one full stitch box, and then 2 full stitch boxes, right? So then second one, okay, right there, right? So we're stopping right here. You see the pattern now? So there's the 4, empty 2, and then we just stitched these 2. Okay, so now I'm going to go down and stitch 3 over it. So what we're going to do now is, we know the next box is right underneath, right? So we're going to do 1 right underneath. So there's, oh, sorry guys, my thread's getting a little wonky here. There's 1 full stitch. Okay, get ready. There's half, and then 1. There's 1 box. Okay, 1 full stitch. A half, and the second one. Okay. Okay, there you go. So see how we just did those 2? Okay, now we're going to do this 3rd one right here. So for me, because I've done counted before and I'm comfortable with stitching, I'm just going to go ahead and mark this one, and this one. I'm going to do this one next and then swing back over to my pattern over here. So I'm going to finish this one, the one underneath it, right? okay? So if we don't pay attention, you see how we can mess up a counted, okay? Okay, so we're right here in our pattern, right? So I want to be right here. So I want to go, I need to leave a blank spot and then one over. So here's the blank spot and here's the one where I need to start stitching my blue. So right there. So before I even start stitching, I double check that I'm in the right spot. Am I in the right spot? Blank spot, blue. Yep, I am. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 to finish out at this line. So there's 1, 2, this is about to be 2, 1.5, I guess you would say. There's 2, 2.5, 3, and 4. So the key is to make sure when you're stitching that you just don't get ahead of yourself. Slow and steady wins the race. You know that? Does anybody know that saying? Okay, so I just finished. Let me go ahead and move this over a bit. I just finished these 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how I'm going to now come back over into this part of my pattern. So it's really easy when it's a full coverage. So I would suggest, A, make sure when you buy a pattern, and again, I've noticed some American brands don't pre-grid, so you have to be careful with those. Every one that I've bought from overseas has been pre-gridded, so I haven't had any issues with that. And just be mindful of your paper pattern is all I'm going to say is, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yep. Okay. 2, 3, 4. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, we didn't do this one. So if you look here, we have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We didn't do this row here like this. See what I mean? Like how you can easily get distracted. What made me second guess it was because I was like, oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, but I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my pattern. That's why. I just got a little excited to get over to the second square to show you guys. So anytime you finish a couple of stitches, I would recommend just marking them off on your pattern. And as you can see, I'm not really digging the coverage on this. This is supposed to be 3 strands. They might fluff up, but let me see. I don't know. It's just, I tend to be a little heavy-handed, so maybe I just need to stop pulling so tight. And also, if you notice, like it's like tightening up on the actual thread itself. So there's that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now we're just going to go back down over here. We're just going to do these ones. So there's 1, 2, 3, 'kay, looks like I got 4 full ones in. So what I'm going to do is do 1, 2, 3, 4. So then I should be able to have 1, 2, 3, 4 left. Do I? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So I'll just go ahead and thread another one. That way we can get through a whole strand together on this particular stitch with me just because it's kind of like a stitch with me and a tutorial in one. So let's just go ahead and knock out a full strand together, guys, shall we? Like I said, this stitch with me, because this is my first counted on my channel, is going to be a little bit longer. I'm going to put you guys on pause and get my next needle threaded. All right, as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches left, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're just going to continue on down while we finish this section here. If you could hear my neighbor's dog, I'm so sorry. That dog barks at his own shadow. Okay. There we go. Nope. Clearly I did not get it right in the middle, did I? Bear with me. My son's asking for fried chicken tonight. He originally wanted Popeyes, and now he's asking for Korean fried chicken, and my husband just clapped back in a text message and said, well, he's Korean. He can fry his own chicken and have Korean fried chicken. Oh, my husband and his jokes, guys. I'm telling you, this man, this is probably how we've stayed together for so long. Okay, so we're going to do 4 more stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's coming up. So 3.5, and then 4. Okay, so I'm just going to finish up here. Park my stitch in the next row over. So always park your stitch when you finish. So that way you can double check. So I just did 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And so according to my pattern of what I stitched here, and according to my pattern, they should be the same. So I have 1, 2, 3 left here, and I have 1, 2, 3 left here, which is correct. So we can continue on in our pattern. I feel like these are habits that we should get used to when we're doing a counted, because if we don't, we just blindly stitch like we do with our stamped, we are going to end up making a mistake. That's why that little small turtle one that I showed you at the beginning of the video, why I had a mistake, because I was like, I know what I'm doing. And then I was like, crap. And then I had to fix it. So if there's anything that I've learned from that experience was try to stitch like one box at a time. Even if we end up parking our stitches or our thread, or if you want to finish it off and then be like, cool, I don't want to park it. It is what it is. Like for me down here, I would park if that makes sense. So if I have extra thread, I'm probably going to fill these extra spots in just so I can knock it out, to be honest with you. Let's see. If I may have to stop here momentarily and put you guys on a pause. My son's friend's mom's supposed to be coming over. She said between 6 and 7, and it's about 5:40 in the evening. So if I do a quick stop, I'm sorry. I'll apologize ahead of time. Okay, so here we go. We're done with that column. So let's go ahead and mark all those ones out now. So we went up this way. We did that one there too. Doop, doop. Okay, there we go. And then there we go. See, when you have a full, like, big circle like that, it can be a little confusing. Okay, there we go. Do you guys remember like around 2010-ish how day in the life vlogs were like a big old thing on YouTube? I feel like those aren't so popular anymore. Especially more so because of all the things that have come to light with some of these vloggers and their kids and stuff. I'm like, wow. I didn't expect to see that take a turn, to be honest with you. Okay, let's see. That one goes there. Where does this one go? Guys, I'm telling you, I've had about enough of these knots. Knots and knots and knots for days. Oop, didn't put it in the right hole. Oop, still not the right one. Still not the right one. Jeez Louise, come on. There we go. And then all I did with my iPad background when I'm stitching, I put my screensaver. It says like, when you can do the time on it. I just put it to never turn off. So while I'm stitching, it just stays on so I can see what I'm doing. Alrighty. All right, another row down. We're going to go ahead and park. We're going to mark all these off. There we go. And just like that, we finished our first square, our first 10 by 10. 100 stitches, guys. Kind of impressive. So are you guys interested in attempting a counted cross stitch? Or are you guys going to stick with stamped? Either way, I'll be honest with you, my channel's probably, it's going to be mostly stamped because that's what most of my stash is. I will just keep probably with my 1 day of a counted project because I don't think I have the mental capacity to run multiple counted projects at once. I'll probably just do one at a time. Okay. Oh, what is going on? It's like just tangling up on itself. Good golly. See, again, just all up on itself. Okay. I have to say, I'm kind of surprised with how much we've gotten knocked out. My husband just keeps messaging me as he sits there and says, I'm waiting on a reply. Well, sir, you're going to keep waiting because I'm filming. I don't know what to tell you. I could speak that into my watch, I guess, but I don't know what he's expecting me to reply. LOL. What am I supposed to reply? Ha ha ha, joke is funny. Ha ha ha, he's Korean fried his own chicken. I don't know. Either way, he's asking for fried chicken. Okay, so ready? Here we go. We just knocked all this out. So we're going to do 4 stitches over on this side right here. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to come over here and do 1. Here's a half. So 4 boxes. 2 boxes. 3 boxes. And 4. Okay? And now we're just going to do our half stitches all the way. I would not recommend that if you are a beginner. Only reason why I'm doing it is because it's fairly simple for me to count 4 back. I would not recommend doing that until you get the hang of a counted pattern. Okay, there's that. Okay, so we just did the 4. Let's go ahead and park. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've done 4. And we're now going down to our 4th, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Are we down on the 4th? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And we're going to do 4 more across. So there's 1 box, 2 boxes, 3 boxes, and 4. Now we're going to go back and finish our stitches. 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's go ahead and park our stitch. It looks like we're going to have 1 more below. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me 1 second. I'm going to reply to my husband because he is blowing up my phone because apparently he has to make a decision. I'll be right back, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Apparently my husband wanted to know what kind of Korean fried chicken, so I had to send the menu to my son to see what he wanted. So back to our pattern here. So I'm going to go ahead and move this down so you can kind of see it in frame. So as you can see here, we have stitched 1, 2, 3, 4. We have done 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're right on track, right? Well, we're starting this segment here. So we're going to stitch 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm only going to do half stitches because I'm going to swing back around. So there's half in 1 box, half in 2 boxes, half in 3 boxes, half in the 4th box. So now we're going to stitch the 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so this is going to be this box here. We're going to stitch this one and this one, and then 1 down. Okay, so if you always want to double check your pattern, I promise you, you guys, I do not understand what is going on with my stitches today. I'm ready to lose my mind with this, like, the knots, because it's like, it's something wicked today. I don't understand. It's like curling up on itself. Okay, so we did the 1, 2, and then we need this one here. So we can kind of stop here to see if we are on track, right? Because here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Are we on track? 1, 2, 3, and then there's your 4th one, right? We can also, so there's 1, 2, 3, and then there's going to be that 4th one. So 1, 2, 3, and then your 4th one. So there's multiple ways you can check your pattern to see if it is correct. So since we're doing this one, we know it's that one. We're going to do this one next and this one. And then I'm just going to kind of stop right here for a second because we just finished those 3 stitches, right? So before I forget what I just did, I'm just going to mark those bad boys off because I, again, with me having ADHD, counted is the bane of my existence unless clearly I'm talking through the process and actually paying attention. That's why I had to stop the video and respond to my husband, because normally I would have just kept talking to you guys through the video and responded to him if it was my stamped one. So okay, we just did 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we only have 1 right here that we have to do, right? So there's the 1. Okay, here's 1. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. What is going on? Sorry, you're starting to see the frustrated side of me when it comes to stitching, guys. Because how many knots is this? Has anybody kept count? If you have kept count and you've actually watched it this long, how many knots is this, guys? Because your girl's about to lose it. Lose it. And my phone's being blown up. My husband has sent me 3 text messages after I just got done telling him, I am filming. I'm filming, sir. Okay, let me just do myself a favor right now. I'm just gonna, here we go. There we go. Okay. Ah, sweetness. Okay, there's that one. Okay, boop. And it looks like I'm gonna do 2 on the next one. 1, here's 1 box. And then the second box. So I just did 2 there. Okay, there we go. I just did 2. 1, 2. And then I'm going to do 2 more. Here's 1. This is why sometimes when you're trying to do projects like this and you have a house of chaos going on, this is why the stamped ones come in handy, to be 100% honest with you, because trying to do this, well, trying to text somebody to figure out what they want for dinner and going back and forth, it's like, just hold my arm. Hold my arm behind my back, guys. Just tie a weight to my ankle now, okay? Because I feel like that's what we're going to do. It is getting hot in this room. 1 and 2. Okay. And we'll go ahead and park right here because that's where we're about to be at. Oh, look, another message. How many do we have so far? 5. We have 5 messages, guys. Oh my, good God. It's between my son and my husband. I don't know who's worse right now. So we're going to do 3. So 1 box, 2 boxes, 3 boxes. And then going back, 1, 2, and 3. So if I wanted to, I could park my stitches here, but I'm trying to stick to my pattern like within squares just because this is my first counted. But we're just going to go ahead and wrap this one up here. So we've done all those blue spots so far. That's not too shabby if you ask me. Pretty good for our first full coverage counted cross stitch, right guys? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to stitch these. So we're going into the second row, which is this, and it's going to be the 3rd, 4th, and 5th box. So 3rd box is right here. 3rd. And this is, again, why I love when it's the pattern in itself is gridded. Can you imagine trying to do something like this without the boxes? Oh, good golly. So there's that first box. So I'll stop right here just to confirm. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and in that 3rd box. I am a triple checker, not even a double checker, guys. I am a triple checker. That's just how I work. So here is 1 full stitch. So we're doing 3 full stitches. There's 1, 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, so we're done with those 3. So what I'm going to do is flip this over. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hit you. There's 3. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to thread this back and forth so it doesn't come undone. So here's 1 and 2. Sweet baby Jesus, that's going to be my saying in this video today. 2. Okay, And I just do that when it's such a small count, back and forth. Okay, so there's that. And then we did 1, 2, 3. All right. Now we can go over, let's do these ones here. So it's 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. And it's going to be these 2 boxes. And the reason why I'm doing it is because I can stitch these 2 and then over. Does that make sense, I hope? So here's 1. Okay. I hear my teenager coming up from the basement. He's probably going to come barging in to make sure I got his text message. Luckily, I have a sign on my door that says recording a video, although I don't feel like it really stops them. They more or less probably hear me talking to you guys than anything. All right. Okay, so there's that one. And then we're going to go over 1 box, which is right here. All right, guys, so we got all the blue done in these 2 boxes. I feel like this is a good start with what we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and close this off. Let's see what we have here. Yep. Now I hear the teenager picking on the 10-year-old. Oh, wait. Nope. It was the 10-year-old picking on the 18-year-old. They're pretty good about respecting each other's personal space. For the most part. I can't say all the time. Clearly, he must not have knocked on the door because she yelled at him to get out. Again, it's a good thing I have a pretty good mic. You guys can't hear what's going on, so I'll take it. All right, friends, let's go ahead and mark off our 3, 2, 3. And I'll try to work more on this section so that way we can get to this section next week. Hold on. Oops. This section this week. Maybe we'll work on these 2 squares. Or maybe we'll do a new color. I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and finish wrapping this up, guys. All right, friends, we finished up that week 1 counted cross stitch of those peony flowers. I hope that even though this video was a little bit longer, that you guys enjoyed the little tutorial inside the stitch with me. If you're a subscriber, thank you for coming along with this stitch with me for another entertaining week for me and my endless knots. If you're not a subscriber and you like the content that I provide, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And I would love to have you part of my little community here. Also, click that little bell. They'll be giving you notifications anytime that I do a new video. I also have 2 other platforms, social media platforms that I'm on. I am on Instagram as well as TikTok. My handler over there is stitching_with_Steph. I do post sneak peeks when I can remember, progress throughout the week, stuff like that. I am getting a little bit better about that. My channel is only a baby right now. It's only 3 weeks old. But if you want to give me a follow over there, I do interact over there with my followers as well. Again, thank you to everyone that watched my video till the end, and I hope that you enjoyed this content. I'll see you next week in week 2 of this counted cross stitch. I hope I see you next time, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.